Let's talk boxing. How's everyone doing? You know, I've been hearing on social media, I don't agree with people are saying if Tyson Fury adopts the same methodology that he adopted in the second Wilder fight against Joshua, Tyson Fury will end up getting knocked out. And I strongly disagree with that, and I'll explain now. You know, Fury gets doubted every time he goes into a big fight. I've heard it all before. You know, even back to the Chisora fights, people were saying he was going to lose. You know, when he fought Klitschko, people were saying that it was a mismatch, he was going to get knocked out, he had no chance of winning over in Germany, and look what he did. When he fought Wilder, we heard the same things. He's going to get knocked out, he's not good enough, he's this, he's that. He beat Wilder in the first fight, it was really bad decision draw. Second fight, Fury said, I'm going to walk forward and knock him out. Everybody laughed. I like David Haye a lot, but David Haye, you know, when Tyson Fury is concerned, he gets it wrong. He was saying that there's no way Tyson Fury can, you know, walk forward and take Wilder out. He'll get knocked out doing that. He knocked Wilder out. So I think Tyson Fury can do whatever he wants. He's that good. He's so good at rising to the occasion. He's got so much natural boxing ability, and he's proven that he can implement the Kronk style. You know, the style that Lennox Lewis was so successful with, Tommy Hearns and more fighters that I can't think right now off the top of my head. But so I don't agree with that. I honestly, wholeheartedly believe that Tyson Fury can beat Anthony Joshua however he chooses. I think he could beat him comfortably on points by just boxing him, and it might not be the most entertaining fight to watch, but he can still get the decision by keeping out of the way. Or he can mix it up. He can box and be, obviously he's going to be respectful of Joshua's power. He's not stupid, and then he can come forward and take Joshua out. I personally, I've gone over this in my head and thought about what would be the best tactics, and we're going to find out. But I honestly believe that, I think, and I could be wrong, right? I'm confident saying this. I think a better approach for Fury against Joshua is the same approach that he did in the second Wilder fight. I don't think Anthony Joshua could handle that type of pressure from a man who weighs, you know, between 260 to 270 pounds, a man who's 6'9", who's strong, powerful and intelligent. Fury can do whatever he wants in this fight. I do not agree with he can't do this, he can't do it. We hear all this, you know, we hear this from fans, we hear this from the experts, and they get it wrong so many times. Now, of course, you know, it's not saying that I'm not respecting Joshua's power. You know, anybody can be knocked out in the heavyweight division, and I've said before, you know, Joshua's got a lot of power and he's a really good combination puncher, but that doesn't take away the fact how good Fury is. And so far, he's never been proven wrong. He's never been defeated, and Joshua has. So I think Fury can win however he chooses to fight and win, and he can adapt. He can do it all, Fury. He can do it on the inside. He can rough it up. I did hear another point that this gentleman, I follow his channel. I like his channel, and I like his view on boxing. He said something interesting. He said, and he's not biased. He's not biased towards Fury. I'm more biased. I'm a Fury fan, but I'm honest. I say what I think, what I really mean. He was saying that, you know, Joshua is dangerous, but he does get tired, and Fury doesn't. And when Joshua's tired, that power that he's got, that extra muscle, it's useless. It's useless. If once he gets tired, and if he tries to knock Fury out, he can easily punch himself out. He'd get knocked out, you know. So for me, I think Fury coming forward in the same way he did against Wilder, I honestly think that would work a treat. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to, no, and they're not going to agree with me. That's fine. Look, with Fury, like I said, from day one, it's always been doubted. He always proves the doubters wrong. David Haye got proved wrong. Remember when David Haye was saying, when he was kind of arguing with Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury, and John Fury was saying, my son's going to knock Wilder Spark out, and I'll bet you 100 grand or however much money. And David Haye was going, no, I don't agree with you. You know, how can you qualify Tyson Fury being able to walk forward and knock out the most dangerous heavyweight puncher in boxing at the moment, in Deontay Wilder, in the second fight? During the commentary, and I respect this about Haye, David Haye was saying, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I didn't know Tyson Fury could do this. This is like one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen. I've never seen Fury do this. I'm in shock. It's recorded. He said something along those lines. I didn't think he could do this. I didn't know he could do this. So I've heard again that David Haye's saying the same old spiel that if Fury tries to walk forward and knock Joshua out, he's going to get knocked out. I don't agree with Haye, and I don't agree with a lot of the fans and the experts, because I've seen what Fury can do. I've seen the man rise from the dead, get off the floor from something that I don't see any heavyweight doing, any boxer. I've seen him survive a terrible gash, a cut that was awful. Most fighters couldn't continue against Otto Wallin and win. I've seen him get back off the floor against Steve Cunningham and win. All I've seen Fury do throughout his career is come back from adversity. And I can't say the same for Anthony Joshua because of the Ruiz fight. And, like I said, I do give credit where credit's due. I think Joshua's best performance in his career was the Klitschko one because of what he overcome. But he hasn't been consistent at doing that, and he hasn't been that Anthony Joshua. I haven't seen that guy for ages, the one who beat Klitschko, which was a brilliant performance. I think that performance really made Joshua. But he nearly lost that fight, He did get knocked down. He was exhausted. Klitschko was like a second from knocking him out. But you have to give credit where credit's due. Joshua got through it and knocked Klitschko out. So I do give him credit for that. There's no doubt about it. But, we're not talking about Klitschko. We're talking about Tyson Fury. There's a difference. And, Klitschko that fought Joshua was old then. He was in his 40s then. He wasn't the same guy that boxed Fury. That was, he just wasn't. Joshua fought a lesser Klitschko. And I suppose that's not Joshua's fault. He can only beat what's in front of him. But, we have to be honest about things if we're going to be honest and be truthful. If we're just going to talk a load of BS and not be honest, and because we don't want to hurt people's feelings or this or that, it's tough, man. It's the truth. So, it's a possibility that Tyson Fury could get knocked out. It's a possibility Joshua could get knocked out. But I don't think you can say it like you're definitely right that Fury can't. I disagree. Fury can do what he wants. He can walk forward and use the Kronk style against Joshua and back him up and use his jab and take him out with a 1-2. Of course he can do it, man. And look, people are going to go, I keep hearing it, Joshua's not Wilder. No one said he was. Nobody said Joshua was Wilder. They're different fighters, different strengths. Tyson Fury, it's true what Don Charles said about him. He said he's a chameleon. He's so crafty. He can adapt. He can change. I don't even know sometimes what he's going to do. Even Fury doesn't know what he's going to do. But there's a method behind the madness. He's brilliant, man. He'll adapt and he'll do whatever he chooses in the ring. And I think I can't know what he's going to do, but I think he probably can do a bit of both. But I reckon I think we're going to see an aggressive Fury. I think this more aggressive Tyson Fury is a better boxer than the Tyson Fury who is more herky-jerky and cagey. Even though that Fury's brilliant, it's not as entertaining to watch as seeing Fury fight the Kronk style. And I always that's why I love Lennox Lewis. I still love Lennox Lewis because of the Kronk style that he fought in. But that's not to say, like I said, one of you said I don't give credit to Joshua. I do give credit. He's exciting. Joshua's an exciting fighter. He's for most part he's a knockout artist. He is exciting. So I'm not saying he's not exciting. All I'm saying is Fury's the better fighter in my opinion, and Fury's going to beat him, and we're going to find out. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not the end of the world, but I probably am going to be right. So no, I don't agree on that. I think the opposite's true. I think Fury being scared, which he's not, I think Fury not having that approach could actually go against him. But again, that's not to say that Fury has to fight a certain way to win. Fury can fight whatever way he chooses. If he chooses to be more cagey and win on points, he can win that way. If he wants to just take it to Joshua and have a fight, he'll win that way. I honestly think he'll win. Better defense, Tyson Fury, more heart, better boxing IQ, better at recovering, more adaptable within adversity, can adapt to change. And that's not saying that Joshua hasn't got these things in his arsenal. He has, but Fury's just better. He's just better at all these things. He's got more heart, and it's nonsense when people say Tyson Fury hasn't got power, he's not a big puncher. That's just a load of BS. Because you ask Deontay Wilder don't ask Wilder, but you know what I'm saying. Ask Wilder if Tyson Fury can't punch. Ask Steve Cunningham. Ask Derek Chisora. Ask all the fighters he's fought. Ask Klitschko. Tyson Fury can punch. It's a bit like Kawasaki. Because he's that skillful, he hasn't needed to get into dust-ups every fight and knock people out. He's just that good. He can win with his boxing. But he's proven now, since working with Sugar Hill, that he can just completely change. I mean, what a fighter! Obviously, there are fighters, but there's not many. What are fighters that come to mind that can box one way throughout most of their career and all of a sudden get a new trainer and in a matter of 10 weeks just go, right, I'm changing everything, and just does it successfully. That's a great fighter. You know, there's only a handful of fighters that can do that. You know, your Canelos, your James Tonys, you know, your Lennox Lewis's. Obviously there's quite a few, but there's not many heavyweights today that can just dramatically change, especially when you've been in a tough fight. Well, I say tough, but the first Wilder fight, you know, you have the rematch, a year later, 9 months later, a year later, which is not that long, and you just completely change your style and win. You know, he won both ways, so for me, I could honestly see Tyson Fury walking forward intelligently and knocking Joshua out. I could see him knocking him spark out, flattening him, but I could also see him boxing him smart. I could see it both ways. But anyway, listen, at the end of the day, that's my opinion. You might not agree with me. That's fine. I don't lose any sleep over it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the box below. I'm sure you will. If you disagree with me, great. Let's have your opinion. That's what the channel's for. It's all positive at the end of the day. It's just different opinions, and we're all looking forward to the fight, and best man's going to win. And for me personally, Fury every day of the week, but there's going to be a lot of you that back Joshua, and good luck. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I don't agree on that. I don't agree. And I do agree, obviously. You know, it's not like Fury doesn't respect. He's going to respect Joshua's power, and Joshua's been you don't achieve what he's done if you're not a good fighter. So it's not like he's not going to respect him. He is going to respect him, but he's going to go in with confidence, and it's going to be interesting what game plan. And I'm actually quite intrigued as to what game plan Joshua's going to implement. But people are just. It's almost a bit naive. People are just going on like, oh. It's almost like Fury can only win by outboxing him and Joshua's going to knock Fury out. And it's like, that's the narrative people are running with. I don't agree on it. I think we could get a completely different fight to what a lot of the fans don't expect. It might even be a boring fight. It might even just be a points win. But however the fight takes place, for me, there's only one winner, Tyson Fury.